we interrupt your regularly scheduled programming to bring you a special presentation of
Two Nerds, a podcast. Your home for everything movies, music, video games, and everything in between. With your hosts, Bunny the Bruiser, and Dynamite Jared Latching.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Two Nerds, a podcast. We are Two Nerds, and this is our podcast. I am Bunny the Bruiser.
Howdy, y'all! Dynamite Jared!
Hell yeah, we're gonna have to, one of these days, we're gonna have to make a country remix to the theme song there to play under your intro. One of these days.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So what's going on, man? How you been?
I'm tired. I was burning the candle at both ends last night, which is not something you should be doing when you're about to be 32 next month. But this week I finally succeeded in hooking up my stereo setup for both my TVs. It started off with just the one in the living room, and then I fell down a rabbit hole. I don't know if you've ever fallen down a rabbit hole before, but once I bought an amp and set up my living room TV, now I have like this obsession with audio equipment. So I'm looking at speakers at the flea markets and amps and oh my god, all kinds of stereo equipment. It's not good.
Yeah, I haven't gone down any speaker rabbit holes, but I do. We're getting like the Google Homes set up in a lot of the rooms. We have like 3 of them now, so we're like slowly doing that. So like if we're listening to music or whatever, we can like play it like throughout the whole house. But yeah.
Was on just like what on like jabroni speakers?
No, like on the Google Home like speakers, like the fucking ones that they make. Like,
what do those sound like? Do they sound good?
you've heard them before. I mean, you heard them when you were here last year for the Halloween party. We were using those. I mean, they can get pretty loud, and stuff. I still got to get some sort of like good quality like Bluetooth one to put outside because, as you saw at that one party, we were relying on Miles's fucking party box.
And the one time he didn't bring it.
Yeah, he didn't bring it, so.
The one time he doesn't bring it, of course, it's the time that I'm there.
Yeah, so I gotta get something for when I'm outside, preferably something with AM, FM, because like I could go and get any sort of Bluetooth speaker to bring outside, but a lot of them you can't like get radio on. So like,
what do you need radio for?
To go to the drive-in, because you gotta tune into
the.
Yeah,
okay.
That's like the main reason. That's like the only reason why it needs AM, FM on it, because you gotta tune into the station there. Because again, that's the thing I'm like relying on Miles for. Like I can't go to the drive-in without him because I don't have a speaker, and I'm not about to run my car for the entire like 4 or 5 hours that I'm there. So
just get a fucking boombox.
I know. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I gotta get one. I just haven't gotten around.
Get a vintage one.
I could, yeah.
They're actually expensive.
You're the one going to all the flea. Weren't you just at a? You sent me something. You were at a flea market on like Friday. Didn't you send me? You got something.
What did I send you?
I thought someone sent me something that they got at a flea market on Friday. I thought it was you. I could be wrong.
I mean, I was at a flea market on Friday, but I didn't send you anything. The last picture I sent you was pictures of Ultimate Warrior and Macho Man with mullets.
That's true. I don't know what it was then. I don't know. I thought it was you. Either way, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so my week's been pretty uneventful. Just been working and getting ready for the horror marathon, making all the videos and stuff, and brainstorming ideas with you on what we want to do for the show. So, we actually got quite a number of responses on the cat post that we made, but we're gonna save that for the next episode. We're in person, so we can look at all the stuff and respond to the questions together, just so it's a little bit easier for us. So,
we've swerved all the viewers.
We've swerved you all.
Will we ever recover from this monumental swerve?
We'll have to keep stringing them on, and we'll say, oh yeah, the episode will be next week, and we'll just keep it going for however long.
Cat episode. Before you know it, we're going to be a goddamn cat podcast, a cat cast, if you will.
Yeah, you never know, man. So yeah, any other housekeeping stuff you wanted to talk about? No Star Reviews left a comment on last week's episode. Because as you know, he's a Midwesterner, as we are, but he's from the Wisconsin area, so the dude knows about his cheese.
Oh,
So
okay.
he was responding to our cheese discussion from last week.
He's a cheesehead, some would
Yeah,
say.
so yeah, cheesehead man. He's talking about Swiss, Munster, feta. Get the sharpest cheddar possible, but he says that all of, like, the Jack cheeses are the best. So like your pepper jacks, your Monterey Jacks, and all that kind of stuff. So I trust his judgment. Out of anyone else I've ever listened to about cheese, it's got to be someone from Wisconsin. So
Yeah, I mean, and he's absolutely right. The pepper jack cheese is among the best cheeses. So I would say in my top two is pepper jack and Gouda. For housekeeping, I finally fixed my pipes.
yeah,
That's what I've been doing this week. So my sink is no longer clogged, and then I crawled into my crawl space and discovered that I have some friends down there.
oh yeah.
Some roommates that I need to start collecting rent from these guys. There's about 3 or 4 frogs living underneath my house.
I was like, are these gonna be mice? Or are these gonna be like, I didn't know what they were. I was not expecting frogs though.
No, man, if it was like mice or snakes, I probably would have freaked out a little bit, even though I don't have a problem with mice. But when they're running rampant and they could potentially crawl on me or run at me or whatever, then they could be quite unnerving for me. The frogs, however, they didn't want to move. Honestly, we were trying to move them out of the way sometimes, and kind of like throwing stuff by them and everything, and they were standing their ground. They didn't want to hop away. So very what's the word? Very gallant, I guess. Very frogs.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the right
right.
word that I was looking for, but
Thank God it
yeah.
wasn't the snakes though.
If it was snakes, it would have been game over. I would have got out of the crawl space, never to return.
Yeah.
That would have been terrible.
But anyway, if you guys are joining us for the first time because you were teased with the cat episode, just want to remind all you guys to make sure you're subscribing to the show if you're watching this over on YouTube. Give it a thumbs up. If you're on Apple Podcasts or Google Podcasts or whatever, make sure you leave us a 5-star rating and review on the show. And yeah, spread the good word about us. This will be the first episode that comes out with an ad. So here's our ad right now. Good shit, man. We're sponsored.
This what an incredible day to be alive, buddy. We are raking in the cash, and before you know, it'll be 2 nerds in Japan.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fantastic time.
Yeah. So let's move on. I guess if we have nothing else random to talk about, we can just sort of move on to the main course here. We're going to be talking about some notable films that we have never seen for whatever reason.
Very controversial topic for us today. We're going to be angering a lot of our fans and first-time listeners. They're going to be absolutely offended at some of these famous films that we have not seen. When we consider ourselves experts of the subject, but not quite so.
Hey, we might be even upsetting our co-hosts. I might have a few controversial ones on here. I don't know, because we haven't shown each other's lists, and I just sort of like... I went on the internet.
I have one that's definitely going to upset you. I know for a fact.
And I have one that's definitely going to upset you. I also know for a fact.
Wow, this is going to be a very heated discussion.
Yeah. But basically, though, I don't know how you did research for this or whatever, but basically I just sort of went on Rotten Tomatoes and looked up, like, the most noteworthy films of, like, the decades. So I did from, like, 70s until now, basically. I didn't really go past that, but... And just sort of wrote down a few of them that I hadn't seen or is interesting to talk about. I'm sure there's tons that I didn't see that were on those lists, but it's just not as interesting to talk about, I guess. So I wrote down a few. I don't know how you went about this process or anything.
I sat on the toilet and thought about films that I need to see or that I just haven't seen that I know are, more famous, more known films. And so that's basically what I've done. I'm sure you'll say some that we both haven't seen. And
yeah,
then
vice
I'll
versa,
probably, hop in on that. But I want to preface this whole topic by saying that as Two Nerds a podcast, if you've listened to us before, then you already know some of the famous films I'm going to say. I'm just going to knock them out right now. I have not seen about 90% of the Marvel movies post First Avengers.
Yeah, we've talked about that on the show as well. I also haven't. I've seen like the major ones, like the Avengers films, like all 4 of those, and then I've seen like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. But yeah, for the majority of like
I haven't even seen those. I've only seen the first Avengers, and then the most recent ones that I've seen are the 2 Spider-Man films.
Yeah, I guess to get some other ones off the bat, these are also ones that I've mentioned on the show before. I've seen, I think, 2 out of the Harry Potter films, but have no interest in seeing the rest.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I've seen the first Harry Potter film, and I don't really care to see the rest.
Yeah. And, I think we talked about that on the show before, so that's why I don't know, but yeah.
We're really just killing our entire nerd base right now with this, because also, and here goes our female fan base, I know that you've seen all 4 or 5. I think it's 5 because they split the last one into 2.
With Twilight?
But
is that what you were getting at?
Twilight, yeah. I've only seen the first Twilight. Never saw any of the other ones.
Yeah, I've seen all of them at least once. The one I've actually seen the least is actually the first one. But yeah.
That's the one I've seen most.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, some of these films we either missed the boat on or just have no interest in seeing, or we just missed for whatever reason. And some of them, like, maybe I would want to check out, but most of these on here I really don't even care to see, really.
I have a very slight interest in watching a lot of the Marvel movies that I haven't seen. I would not be opposed to watching them if somebody came up to me and was like, oh, let's watch these. I would probably be on board. But as for Harry Potter and Twilight, I have no interest, and I probably will not be watching them ever.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess that's all the disclaimers. I mean, a lot of these on mine in particular, I don't know if it's just because of the year I was born or whatever, but like a lot of these older ones, like, I kind of missed the boat, so like there's no reason for me to really go back and rewatch these, because a lot of these on my list are like kid and family films from like the 80s and stuff that like I wasn't a kid in the 80s, so like I sort of missed the boat on some of those. But they're pretty famous films, so I'm sure you've seen most of them. But either way, do you want to start this out or anything, or do you want me to
You sound like you have a longer list than me, because I was just going off the top of my head. But I'll start off with one that's earlier than the 70s. But I'm going to go ahead and just say it, and I don't really care, even though it's probably blasphemous to say. But at this point in time, I'm 31 years old. If I haven't watched it yet, I'm never going to, because I don't fucking care. I've never seen Gone with the Wind.
I've never seen Gone with the Wind either. That wasn't on my list, but I've never seen See, here's the thing. Like, it's very hard for me to watch a movie that's above 2 hours as it is. I think Gone with the Wind is like 4.
It is usually separated into 2 VHS tapes.
Yeah.
And beyond, like I think if there's a laser disc for it, it's probably like 4 discs. And
oh, I'd imagine it's at least 4 discs. Yeah, front and laser disc. You got to do both sides if you're not familiar with laser discs. But
no, but that's a good point that you bring up. Most of the time when I see a movie. If I'm watching a movie at home. Now, if I go see a movie in theaters, the runtime doesn't matter to me, really. But when I'm watching a film at home, I almost always try to pick something around that 90-minute range. Like 90 minutes to like 100 minutes, usually. But once you start getting closer to that 2 hours and beyond, you're going to have a tough time convincing me to watch it unless it's something that I'm very interested in.
Yeah, because, like, if you're going to, like, the cinemas or whatever, like, it's an event. Like, that's your night or your afternoon or whatever. Like, you're going to experience this thing. Like, if I'm just, like, chilling at home, I'm not trying to sit on my couch for 4 hours and watch Gone with the Wind. So
I'm just surprised that you didn't have to watch that in school.
we didn't really have to do any of that kind of stuff. We didn't really have to go back and watch like these notable films like Citizen Kane or like any of that like old school stuff. I mean, like we covered them like in class and like said like why they were significant and stuff, but like they never like assigned it to like watch any of these things.
But you have seen Citizen Kane.
I have seen Citizen Kane, yeah.
That's one I haven't seen. I didn't even think of that. So you bringing that up is like another one.
Honestly, would not recommend.
Yeah, I know. I kind of get the picture of it, and I feel the same way. I feel like I would feel the same way about it as like James Rolfe does when I watched his review of it, because obviously he's seen it, but what did he say? He doesn't think it's the greatest film ever made, and he said that should be like King Kong or something.
Yeah, he did say. Yeah, I remember that one. But yeah, I mean, it's a good film to like study. Like, I mean, there's a lot of like camera techniques that were like pioneered in it, but like the story is like shitty as fuck. Like, it's like boring as hell. Like, I mean, it's cool to look at, but I mean, that doesn't make it a good film in my opinion. But it's whatever.
Right? Yeah, I have no interest in watching Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind.
Yeah. So, do you have any other ones that are, like, way older? Because I didn't write any down that were, like, way older.
As far as pre-70s, I just have, Eyes Without a Face.
But that is one that we will watch, because you just got that on Criterion.
Yeah, I finally got it. The only reason I haven't watched it is because it has been very hard for me to come by.
Yeah. So that's also one I haven't seen, but I do want to see. But yeah. So I guess I'll start with the first one that I wrote down from the late 70s, early 80s. I've never seen, with the exception of the newest one, because it came out a couple years ago, I've never seen any of the Mad Max films.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Fury Road, like the new one, but I've never seen any of the Mel Gibson ones.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised by it.
Yeah.
Honestly, the first one is like not even really worth a watch.
That's what I've heard. I've heard, like, I mean, when you think of Mad Max, you're thinking about the second one.
Right.
That's more like the street races and whatever. Like, the first one's like more like a gritty, like, slow-paced kind of thing, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it takes forever for stuff to start happening in it. And I mean, like, the final act is kind of cool, but it is very slow, and it's more of like a thriller than like an action movie that you would expect from Mad Max. So the first one, I would say, is not even really worth a watch. And honestly, I think the second one is kind of overrated. And the third one out of the original trilogy is actually my favorite, which is a controversial statement because most people hate that one.
Yeah.
But maybe they hate it for the reasons that I like it, and that it's just kind of over the top. And it's more exciting than the first two, honestly.
Yeah. Again, that's what because that one's Thunderdome, right? That's the third one?
Thunderdome, yeah.
Yeah, so, yeah, I've heard that one's pretty crazy, but I don't know.
Fury Road's great, though. Fury Road is actually the best one.
Yeah.
Which is an odd thing for me to say, because I usually stand by the originals of things and, you know, like the older versions of stuff. I'm usually the champion of that stuff. I champion that stuff, but the Fury Road is definitely the best Mad Max film. Like, it just can't even really be debated.
Yeah. And of course I have nothing to compare it to, but yeah, I thought Fury Road was great. I think it was in like my top 5 films that I saw that year or whatever. But yeah. Do you want to do another one, or you want me to keep going?
Here's a controversial one that I think I've mentioned on the podcast before. Actually, I'm pretty sure I've definitely mentioned it. I've never seen Phantom Menace, and I'm just going to go ahead and lump in the rest. I've never seen any of the new Star Wars films.
Okay, well, I've seen all of them at least once. Honestly, like, that's one of those things where, like, if you're not a Star Wars person, and I know that you're not really the biggest Star Wars person, like, if you're not into it, man, like, you're not into it. Like, there's no reason to be, like, be like, you have to fucking watch Star Wars or whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. I don't like not like Star Wars. Like when I was a kid, I used to love the original trilogy when I was a kid, but I feel like I kind of outgrew it. And like it's not something I hate or dislike or anything, but I've just since started, being more interested in other movies and
right.
other like franchises and stuff, and Star Wars isn't near the top of my list anymore. But out of the first 6 movies, the only one that I haven't seen is Phantom Menace. And just based on what I hear about it from people, I'm not very interested in actually going back and rectifying that.
Yeah. It's not the worst Star Wars film. I actually think the worst one is Attack of the Clones. I think that one has like no redeeming qualities whatsoever. But I mean, Phantom Menace, like
Attack of the Clones was pretty weak. I saw it in theaters when it came out, and
Yeah.
I was like, I remember that everyone was really hype on General Grievous because he could do 4 lightsabers at one time or whatever,
Yeah.
and he was doing the spinny thing, and like that scene was only like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was just like, the rest of the movie was just kind of whack.
Yeah. It's by far the most boring one as well. And I mean, Phantom Menace, like, it's mainly just because I have like good memories associated with it, and also what ties into that is it had a really good N64 pod racer game that went along with it.
Yeah, I remember the pod racer game.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're not missing much with the Phantom Menace either. So,
right out of that second trilogy, the like, Revenge of the Sith is like. That's the third episode 3,
yeah,
right?
That's the last one.
That's like the only good one, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the only one. I mean, even then, like looking back at it, it's not as good as I remember it. Like I haven't seen it in many years. But
there's parts of it. There's parts of it that come off rushed. I remember thinking that even in theaters.
Yeah, really, the only ones that I like. My favorite one's A New Hope, and then Empire Strikes Back is good as well. And then, like, Return of the Jedi, I don't even think is that great anymore. I don't know. It's, like, a tricky subject with me. Like, most of them I think are just alright. Like, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan either, but... I don't know.
Alright, well, back to you. What's a...
Well, I guess to stick with the sort of sci-fi train and Harrison Ford train, I've never seen Blade Runner.
Yeah, I have. I think it's something that I need to rewatch because I think that I wanted it to be something that it's not. And I think now maybe it'll be more digestible for me for what it is, which I guess is kind of like a cyberpunk noir kind of deal, I guess. But going into it, I thought it was going to be like an action movie.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I heard everyone like goes in with like these expectations that it's gonna kind of be like Star Wars or something, like a sci-fi like action epic. But like as you said, it's more of like a thriller, and it just takes place in like a sci-fi setting. And it's more like slow paced, like espionage kind of stuff going on. So
yeah, so like I wasn't expecting that. So to this day, I find that I'm very disappointed with Blade Runner, but I think that maybe going back and revisiting it, possibly on a Blu-ray. Maybe one day I'll pick up a Blu-ray of it, and it'll look really nice, and I'll, watch it. I think that it's a movie that a lot of people that go to Japan talk about because I guess like the neon lights and everything in Japanese cities, downtown area.
Right,
frequently draw comparisons to Blade Runner, and so I know that I really like those neon lights and stuff, and I like that atmosphere. Yeah. So it's a movie that I'm interested in revisiting, but I've seen it and I was disappointed with it.
Yeah, I'm interested in watching it someday. It's not one of the ones that I'm opposed to watching to or whatever. I guess sort of just to stick with some of like the old school films, just to get 2 of mine out of the way. I've never seen any of the Monty Python films, and I don't really plan to.
Yeah, I've never seen those either. I've seen bits and pieces because a lot of our nerdy friends um, have been interested in Monty Python, but I was never
Yeah.
interested.
Yeah, like I've seen, like you said, I've seen the notable clips. Like I've seen, like, oh, it's just a flesh wound and like all that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, as far as like sitting down and watch, like I've said this on the show before, I'm sure, but just like some of the like older comedies, like I can't really get into it, especially with like the British like dry humor and stuff. Like I don't know if it's for me or not, but I don't know. I don't really plan on going to out of my way to see
Older
any of those.
comedies.
Yeah.
80s comedies are great, man, but Monty Python is not one of them.
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead with another one of yours?
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and hit you with this. I'm not sure if you know this or not. And it's something I definitely intend to watch, but probably after rewatching the first one. But to this day, I've still never fully watched Godfather 2.
Oh my. That's our I mean I can understand, like I'm not upset with you, but I can understand, like that's another one that's really long, and if you're not in the right state of mind, it can be very slow as well. But I thought
I think
I
that
know you go ahead.
I think that it's a movie that's like near the top of my list of movies that I want to watch because I've watched parts of it before, like Christmas Day, like 3 years ago when I was at like a get together for my girlfriend at the time, her family. Godfather 2 came on to TV. Like they were doing like a Godfather series marathon. So Godfather 1 had just ended and Godfather 2 came on and I was like instantly pulled into it. And I was like, damn, this movie's pretty fucking good. It drew me in and I was very interested in it, but we had to leave, so I couldn't watch the rest of it. And I've seen other scenes where like I think that it's the one of the flashback scenes. So it's fucking the Don um before he was the Don, back when he was younger. I seem to recall like he's like going from like rooftop to rooftop. He's like tailing somebody.
Yeah, he's chasing him down and then he kills him in the hallway or whatever, yeah.
Yeah, so I remember him like going from rooftop to rooftop another time. I think that might have also been on Christmas Day, but at my parents' house, like a different year
Yeah.
entirely. So there's probably a channel out there that shows all three Godfather films every Christmas.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty common to play those around like the holidays and stuff, and like all the old Italian families are together, fucking sit around and watch their heritage. I mean, it was always on. I mean, those films were always on at like my grandparents' house when I was growing up and stuff. A lot of people actually place Godfather 2 above the first film.
Yeah,
I don't
I know
agree.
you're not one of those.
I'm not one of those. No, the original one's the best. But part 2 is right up there, man. Um,
I think that I'm going to be one of the people that places two above one.
yeah, I'm
I'm pretty um, confident that I'm going to place it above the first one, but I actually need to rewatch the first one before I move on to the second one because it's been years since I've seen the first one, and when I watched it as a 16-year-old at like 2 in the morning because my older brother wanted me to see it, and we just did like a double feature. Godfather was like the second movie in the double feature, and the first movie was Pink Floyd The Wall. So
that's a hell of a combo.
yeah, so you can imagine which movie I was more interested in as a 16-year-old was the more uh, bright and colorful Pink Floyd The Wall that was just absolutely batshit insane. And my brain it was just fucking drained of all logic and reasoning. And it was like 2 in the morning, so I was probably dozing in and out. So all I really remember about the first Godfather movie is the horse head and then the shootout at like a phone booth.
Yeah, it's at the the phone booth or the fucking at the traffic stop on the freeway.
it might be a traffic stop.
Yeah, because that's the big one.
So there's a phone booth and a traffic stop.
Well, there's one where like the Don's getting fruit at like a thing, and I think his son's at a phone booth nearby. So you might have thought of that one, but no, the big one where there's like all the guys with the machine guns. That's like on the freeway, like traffic stop thing.
Yeah, so I need to rewatch it and just freshen up on it, and then move on to Godfather 2, and then eventually maybe one day 3. But I have to say that's probably the one that I'm least interested in.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not going to watch one, that's the one not to watch. I mean, it's not bad, but when you compare it to the other two, it's definitely the weakest out of there. But like, as far as like your average like mafia movie or whatever, like it's not that bad. I think it gets a little bit of a hard rap, but either way. Let's see, if we're sticking with some old school stuff, I've got a controversial one for you. This one you might get a little upset. You thought I was going to get more upset with the Godfather thing. I have never seen Enter the Dragon.
It's not that upsetting.
Oh, it's not that upsetting.
No, I mean, I think definitely watch it someday. But as far as Bruce Lee movies go, like out of his big movies, I find that's the one that people reference a lot because that was the only one that was produced in America, right?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
Well, I will say this about Enter the Dragon is that, oh, fuck. What's his name? The guy that just died. He's in it. Freaking Nancy's dad in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, Bill Pax, is that his name? Bill Paxton? Yeah.
Or is it Bill Paxton? Yeah. Or no, Saxon.
Oh, Bill Saxon, yeah.
John Saxon, right?
So,
oh, God. Yeah, John Saxon.
John Saxon, okay.
Yeah, John Saxon's in it. It's good. It's good, but it's not the strongest Bruce Lee movie. It's that would probably go to like Fist of Fury, in my opinion, with like the fucking 20-minute fight scene against Chuck Norris at the end.
Which I also haven't seen.
Yeah, that's the one that I would go for first.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe it's about like Japanese dudes show up to try and take over the dojo that Bruce Lee's at, and Bruce Lee just starts beating the fuck out of all the Japanese dudes, and then somehow makes his way back to their hideout, and for some reason Chuck Norris is there as like their main heavy, and him and Chuck Norris have like a very fucking good kung fu fight scene that lasts for a long time.
Yeah.
Very, very good Bruce Lee movie. That one's probably my favorite. Enter the Dragon is good. It's good. Watch both of them, honestly. Like, whenever you're in a kung fu mood, you should probably start dipping into the Bruce Lee thing, because have you seen any Bruce Lee movies?
I haven't seen any Bruce Lee movies, but I just figured I'd go with the most famous one.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple with the fake Bruce Lees. I think we've watched a fake Bruce Lee movie before, or something.
Me and you?
Yeah, we watched some like weird Netflix movie like last year. It was like some dragon thing. It was like a really like, I can't even remember what it was called, but
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Either way,
with Bruce Lee,
something like that. It was like something like, it was one of the fake Bruce Lees. But why don't you hit me with another one?
All right, we're getting kind of. Let's see here.
I don't know how many more you have.
Just two more, I guess, on my list.
Oh,
I
really?
could probably start trying to think of more while you're talking, but I've never seen Almost Famous.
I've never seen that either.
Yeah, it kind of, from what I gather, it goes like kind of like right up my alley with like coming of age kind of like movies. A lot of people say it's like a masterpiece, and I just haven't seen it. And it's definitely on my list. I'm going to watch it someday if I don't die in the future.
Can I hit you with some of my coming-of-age comedies I haven't seen? I'll lump them all together for you.
Oh God, if you say Dazed and Confused, you're gonna piss me
Oh
off.
no, I've seen Dazed and Confused.
All right.
It's mainly like with the '80s sort of like John Hughes stuff. Like
Okay.
I've seen Breakfast Club obviously, but I haven't seen
Breakfast. What?
Breakfast.
Which one's
Breakfast.
Breakfast Club?
The Blacklist Club.
The Blacklist Club?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like a James Spader show, and he's a big '80s coming of age guy.
Yeah.
Mostly Pretty in Pink. Is
Yeah.
what I know by. Is
But
that
yeah,
on your list?
I haven't seen Pretty in Pink,
Oh my God.
haven't seen 16 Candles,
Oh.
haven't seen Say Anything. Again, like I'm a little bit younger than you, and I was the oldest of my family, so I didn't have like an older brother who was like showing me these things, or I didn't have like someone in my life who was a little bit
I'll tell you
older.
something. My older brother was not showing me fucking 16 candles, dude. I had to go seek that shit out on my own.
I don't know. It's just some. I mean, I just missed the boat with some of these. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So I should be checking out all of these someday.
Yeah, you should. Um, the I'll kind of set it up better for you. What the hell? This is just showing me movies I'm definitely interested in. Thanks, Google. I actually want films that are, if I'm interested in them, I've probably seen them. Like here's one I actually haven't seen, Mothra. But all right, so yeah, was that just those three, or are there other ones?
Those were just the three I've written down. Like I've seen Ferris Bueller, I've seen stuff like that, but like as far as like the notable like '80s coming of age stuff, those were the three that I wrote down that I haven't seen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you need to watch 16 Candles and freaking oh God, what was the other one? Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
Like those are definitely required. I find that Say Anything is probably the weakest of those three.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe still worth a watch, but it's mostly only good for that one memorable scene with the boombox.
Which I've seen. So I've seen the memorable part, but the other two, I couldn't tell you a thing about the other two.
I can tell you
except for someone turned 16 in one and someone else is wearing pink in the other one. That's all I could probably tell you.
Yeah, Molly Ringwald in both movies is the person that you're talking about. She turned 16 in 16 Candles, and I don't remember if she actually wears pink in it, but I'm sure she does, since the name of the movie is fucking Pretty in Pink. But the premise of it is more or less that she's in love with like the popular rich kid at school, and it's funny that I brought this up, James Spader, because he's like the villain of the movie,
Oh yeah.
who's like supposed to be friends with the rich kid, and I think he tries to convince the other rich kid, to like go out with her, but only to like embarrass her, to like break up with her, embarrass her later on.
Huh.
I think, but it all is happening while this other kid, like her friend, who's also like on the poorer side, Ducky, he's in love with her, but she's in love with the rich guy. It's good. You just need to watch it. It's very good. And then 16 Candles is just Molly Ringwald falling in love with a guy on her 16th birthday, basically. But that movie is great too. Those are both really good. Among my favorites.
Yeah. I'll run through a couple more of mine. Just stick with some of the older comedies while we're on the subject. Haven't seen either Bill or Ted. Haven't seen Caddyshack. Haven't seen a lot of 80s comedies, I guess. So I guess instead of breaking them all down, like what are some of the best like 80s comedies I should check out? Because chances are I probably haven't seen it.
All right, so the Bill and Ted movies I'd say are worth checking out, but the problem, oh my God, fucking Rotten Tomatoes, top 100 movies of all time. Number 1 is Black Panther. Stop. Stop it, okay? I don't care if he's dead. I don't care about the civil rights implications of it. Black Panther is not the number 1 movie of all time. Stop it. Stop. No. Impossible. No way. And there's movies on here that have higher ratings than that. Anyways, Bill and Ted is worth watching, but I find that both Wayne's World movies are superior.
Which I have seen. So
Yeah. So Wayne's World is the superior like rock
comedy.
comedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else did you say? I've actually never seen Caddyshack either, so
those were the only ones I wrote down, but I haven't seen a lot of 80s comedies. I haven't.
The 80s comedies that I do see, the ones that pique my interest and get me to watch are like 80s teen comedies. So like Caddyshack doesn't really apply.
Yeah. I guess for like a 90s comedy, I haven't seen Happy Gilmore.
Really?
Yeah, really, I haven't seen it.
How
I've
have
seen.
you gone without seeing Happy Gilmore? Like I'm not mad. I just don't know how that's physically possible. It's like on every TV station, like every day.
I don't know. I've done all right without seeing it. I don't know. I just haven't. I've seen Billy Madison. I've seen Waterboy. Little Nicky and Big Daddy are classics. Like those are probably my 2 favorite Sandler films. But Happy Gilmore.
Nicky and Little Nicky and
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
Those are weak. Those are weak. Billy Madison and Waterboy and Happy Gilmore shit on those movies.
Well, I'm going to have to watch Happy Gilmore. I mean, I can't judge it till I see it. I haven't seen it. I just sort of missed it. I don't know how. I've even seen, like, Longest Yard and shit with Adam Sandler, but just for, like, some reason I never fucking saw Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore?
Gilmore. I don't know, I can't speak tonight, it's late. Another controversial comedy, I've never seen Dumb and Dumber either, from around that time period.
That's okay.
That's okay, that's fine.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah. Alright, you got another one for me? Or
I just want to say that it's not really a comedy, but when you dive into like these freaking 80s like kind of teen movies or whatever, it's not really a teen movie, but it's kind of like a post college graduation depressing ass movie, and a lot of people don't like it, and I think that they don't like it because it's not upbeat like 16 Candles or Breakfast Club or whatever. But if you go into it not expecting that, I really, really like St. Elmo's Fire. You should watch that.
I haven't seen it, but yeah, I'll have to add that to my... That's another one I've heard about for years.
Yeah,
I
really fucking love that. I like that movie a lot. And it's just chock full of sound clips. If you ever start like an emo band, you could do a whole album with stuff.
Yeah.
All right, I have one more on my list. Yeah. Rosemary's Baby. Never seen it.
I've seen it.
I figured you would have.
It's not my favorite. I'm not the biggest Roman Polanski fan. I don't really think I've seen like maybe 1 or 2 of his movies that I like. Most of them I don't. Like I don't like Chinatown. I don't like Rosemary's Baby. I don't know. Everyone goes on and on and on about it, how it's one of the greatest, not only horror films of all time, but one of the greatest like films ever. But to me,
well, it's in the top 20 on Rotten Tomatoes, top 100 horror films of all time.
It's just known for the ending.
It's 18, right above Eyes Without a Face. That Eyes Without a Face has a higher rating though by 2%.
I'm sure it deserves it because Rosemary's Baby is not that great. It might be a controversial opinion to think it's not that great. But yeah, I don't think you're missing anything. Like I don't think if you watch it, you're gonna think it's too special either. So
yeah, I kind of know what the ending is already,
or lack
And
thereof.
yeah, so I mean, kind of knowing that stuff, it doesn't really strike me as something that I'd really want to watch.
Yeah. I can hit you with some more '80s stuff that I haven't seen. So I'll just lump these together. But I wrote them down. I haven't seen a lot of '80s like kids movies or like family films because I wasn't a kid back then, and neither were my parents. Obviously, my parents were like adults in the '80s, so they weren't watching these films. So then when I was born, they didn't say like, "Hey, watch this" or whatever. Like I saw like kids films from the '70s, but not really from the '80s. So I haven't seen like films like The Goonies or Neverending Story or E.T. or like any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, you've never seen E.T.?
I've never seen E.T. No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Not. I don't know. That's just crazy because it's like Spielberg.
I
So
know.
I figured you'd have seen it. The interesting about that is that like I don't know. It's just like everybody's seen E.T.
That's what we're
It's not
talking
like-
about.
it's
Yeah,
not
it's like
one of my favorite fucking movies. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen it since I was like fucking 3 years old. So like it could probably use a rewatch for me too. But like everyone's fucking seen it. Even Maisie's seen it.
yeah. That's what this video is, man. Famous films that we haven't seen that could be blasphemous that we've never seen them. And yeah, I haven't.
What else did you say? Goonies,
Goonies
E.T.
and Neverending Story were the ones I've written down, like the most famous like,
Yeah,
ones.
I mean I've seen all of those, and like really, I'm going to tell you this right now, man, and people might get mad at me about this, but instead of Goonies, just watch The Monster Squad. It's better.
I've seen Monster Squad. Haven't seen
Monster
Goonies.
Squad's better than Goonies. Like, I'm sorry, it's better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't have like even an older cousin or anything who would have watched these when they were younger to tell me to watch them or anything. So I just sort of missed the boat. And now that I'm an adult, like I don't really feel the need to go and watch Goonies or anything.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people really like it, but it is, it's kind of weak in my opinion.
They play it at the drive-in like almost like every other weekend. They'll like slap it onto one of the double features, and it's just like, all right, like I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got any more off the top of your head, or you want me to roll through a couple more?
Not off the top of my head. No, I'm going through the top 100 horror movies of all time, and I've seen most of them, but the ones that I haven't seen tend to be newer, and I don't think that they really are deserving of, like,
Yeah.
oh God, you haven't fucking seen A Girl Walks Alone, walks home alone at night.
Yeah.
No,
And that's a foreign film anyway, so I wouldn't expect most people to be watching that.
No, I haven't, but I think Aubrey posted about it the other day on.
It's a good film. I do recommend it. That's a good one. But again, yeah, that's not something you really think of where it's like, oh my God, you haven't seen this, or like, you know what I
Right.
mean?
And you know what's Rotten Tomatoes is not reliable right now because the top 2 horror movies
It's like Psycho and Nosferatu. I know is up there, and Caligari.
It's Us and Get Out are 1 and 2 respectively. Caligari is in 3rd place.
Yeah, I knew Caligari
Psycho
was up
is all
there.
the way in 7th. Nosferatu is 6th. King Kong, which is arguably not even a horror movie, is
It's a giant monster. I mean, I still consider Godzilla a horror movie and stuff. Like even the ones that aren't
Godzilla
scary.
is just so much more grim than King Kong is.
Well, I said even the ones that aren't scary. Like I mean, it's still a monster movie. I guess. I mean, you can lump it in there.
I consider the first Godzilla definitely a horror.
Oh yeah, yeah, that one is for sure. But
like the other ones are not so much. Godzilla, by the way, is number 25 on this list.
yeah.
By the way, Godzilla, for all of you listening, is better than Us and Get Out put together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it shits on those. Quiet Place number 4.
Quiet Place is number 4. I don't even think that movie is that good. Quiet Place.
That's insane.
Yeah.
number 4 on top 100 horror movies on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
What? This list doesn't make any fucking sense.
I'll go for a couple more that might be a little controversial. I'm gonna save my super controversial one for the end. But I've never seen Top Gun. How about that one? Have you seen that?
Yeah, whatever.
Not missing much.
I mean, it's really just, known for the freaking, what's his name on the soundtrack, Kenny Loggins,
Oh yeah,
with a Highway to the Danger Zone.
yeah. Like I've heard the song, yeah, but it's one of my aunts. That's her favorite movie. But I've never watched it. We talked about Bill and Ted and Keanu Reeves as having his big comeback, but I don't think I've seen the entire first Matrix movie. I think I've seen like parts of it, but I haven't watched it. I've seen it when it's like on TV, but I haven't sat down and watched the entire thing. So it's kind of similar to your Godfather 2 scenario where I've seen parts of it, but
Yeah, it's interesting to me. I figured you would be interested in watching that movie.
yeah, I mean it's another thing I'm not opposed to watching, but it's not like at the top of my list or anything of stuff to check out.
I just found a good one.
You got a good one? All right, lay it on me.
I've never seen Taxi Driver.
That's a good one, man. I'm not necessarily surprised that you haven't seen it, really. I mean, it's not one... I don't know.
By the way, Ricky doesn't like Taxi Driver. He said it sucks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I mean, it's something that I want to watch.
I guess I am a little surprised that you haven't seen it, because I know that you're a Scorsese fan, so I'm like, I guess a little surprised.
I wouldn't consider myself a fan, but I do like, I'm pretty sure I've liked pretty much everything I've seen by him. But I also try and keep it towards like that earlier stuff.
Yeah.
Like what? Goodfellas?
Goodfellas is like middle of the road. It was like his 90s.
Yeah.
I think it came out in 1990, so that's like more the midway point of his career.
Yeah.
But like his older stuff is like Taxi Driver, Raging Bull, stuff like that.
Yeah. I like Raging Bull, and I love Goodfellas. Did he direct Cape Fear?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, Cape Fear was all right. That was pretty good.
Yeah. So.
It could have been a little bit shorter.
That's a bit of his trademark. They're not the shortest films around, man. That's a commitment.
Yeah, but that doesn't really bother me in some of the other movies, but in Cape Fear it dragged a little bit.
Yeah.
I've never seen you probably haven't seen it either. I've never seen Rashomon.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a freaking, oh god, Akira.
Oh, okay. I don't know the name, but yeah.
Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
Now it's gonna piss me off. I have to know his name. He's like one of the greatest film directors of all time. Kurosawa. I didn't.
Yeah.
For the record, I didn't even type in Seven Samurai. I think I actually started typing out Kurosawa, and that's what made me think of it. So Akira Kurosawa. I've never seen Rashomon or Ron, and I'm not opposed to seeing either of those. I actually have Ron on Laserdisc.
Oh, really?
But it is like 2.5 hours. So, it's like one of those things where I'm going to have to set aside pretty much my entire day.
Have you seen Seven Samurai?
Yes, I've seen Seven Samurai.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you seen Magnificent Seven, like the Americanized version of it?
No, I don't give a fuck. Even though I know that it's like, supposedly it's good, and a lot of people really like it. But I'll stick with the original. I prefer samurai to cowboys. So.
Yeah. It's not the best cowboy movie either. It's got a really good soundtrack though. But yeah, I mean,
I'd be stressed to say that Seven Samurai is the best samurai movie either. I've watched some samurai movie even very recently that are probably more exciting to watch than Seven Samurai is.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I've only got a couple more that I wrote down. Guess I'll just say two of the franchises I haven't seen. We've talked about this one on the show either. But I've only seen the first Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen the other two, and I've never seen any Fast and Furious movie. Not a single one of them.
I've seen the first one.
That's it. Okay, so yeah, we're both missed the train on that one.
Yeah, and I don't really care either.
I don't either, really.
The Rock gives me a slight interest in watching the newer ones with him in it, but nah.
I haven't even really seen a lot of the Rock's movies either. Yeah, I don't know. Especially a lot of the ones from like the mid-2000s I haven't gone back and rewatched. Yeah, I've only seen a few of the Rock's movies, really. I don't know. You got any more controversial ones? You got any more that are sticking out to you?
I'm slipping through some of these lists here. It's a lot of... I wish I could kind of cut out like the 21st century ones.
Yeah. As far as like modern stuff, I mean, it's weird to like say any of those because, like as you said, not enough time has passed for it to really be like blasphemous that you haven't seen them.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, just off the top of my head, I don't have these written down. I actually only have one more written down, and that's my super controversial one. But like, I haven't seen like all of Interstellar. I know we talked about that last week a little bit about stuff. I mentioned Interstellar.
Oh yeah, Chris Nolan.
Yeah, haven't seen all of that one. What else? I know people talk a lot about 500 Days of Summer, and I just have no interest in seeing it. I am not a Joseph Gordon-Levitt fan, really.
Really?
Yeah, not really. So I don't know. I don't really have any interest in seeing that. But I know people talk about it all the time. I don't know.
I like Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. That's all I'll say about that. And 500 Days of Summer is good.
I mean, maybe one day I'll check it out. Yeah, I'm sure.
I like that, and another one is 50-50 with him in it. I really like that movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Just for whatever reason, the movies I've seen of his, I didn't really like the movies. I don't know. I'm sure he's like a good guy and a good actor and all that, but like, I haven't really seen too much stuff of his that I've been super into, really. But
I haven't seen North by Northwest.
well, I mean that's a decent one. I mean, again, not one of Hitchcock. I mean, it's in the top 5 Hitchcocks, but I think it's number 5. Like, I think that Psycho's better, Vertigo's better, Rear Window. So it might be number 4, Hitchcock. But yeah, I mean, you've seen those other ones, right? Like you've definitely seen Psycho. I know that.
Yeah, Psycho's one of my favorite movies of all time. I've seen Rear Window, and I saw Vertigo.
Yeah. You ready for my super controversial one? Because I don't have any more.
Hit me with it.
Do you have any controversial ones? Because this one might piss you off a little bit.
I definitely have some, but I can't think of them right now. It's just one of those things, man. I can't think of them. There's definitely movies still out there that if you brought it up, I'd be, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. So this is one that you talk about pretty regularly, I guess, and every time you talk about it, especially on the show, I kind of just stay quiet about it.
Oh, God, no.
What?
I'm just like, if it's something I talk about a lot, that's just going to be...
It's something you talk about. It's one that I'm definitely open to watching. I just haven't watched it. But I feel like it gets brought up on the show here and there every once in a while, and I just sort of get a little quiet. So I have a confession to make. I've been wanting to get this off my chest for years and years and years. But Jared...
This is probably why you wanted to do this whole episode. Your shitty way of making this confession.
That's not why I wanted to do the episode, but it's Jared. I have a confession, my man.
Yeah, right.
I have never seen RoboCop.
You know, God damn it, buddy. What the fuck, dude? Oh, seriously, as you were saying that, I was thinking RoboCop, like, the whole time. I was like, is it going to be RoboCop? I was like, no, there's no way. He's seen RoboCop. Of course he's seen RoboCop. I was like, what movie else have I brought up? What the fuck, man? You know, I find that a lot of people haven't seen RoboCop that I've met, and it's just like makes me sad because it's a really really good movie. It's in my top 10 for sure. I think it might even be in my top 5. I'll have to go look at my letterbox and see where I have it ranked. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to say other than what the fuck are you doing? Just watch the fucking movie, man.
I don't know, man. For whatever reason, I missed the boat on that one. Like, I've seen Terminator and stuff like that, but like, I don't know, I just never saw RoboCop. What's weird is
RoboCop is my number 3 movie of all time,
behind Halloween and what else?
And Terminator 2.
Oh, okay.
And then right after that is Psycho. So sandwiched in between Terminator 2 and Psycho, and we all know how much I fucking love Psycho, is RoboCop. It's just that fucking good to me. And recently I guess I should have just went on to the page and saw that you don't have it rated on here. I guess I should have seen that and one day texted you, and I guess I wasn't just checking my RoboCop ratings. Texted you and be like, "Hey man, I don't know if you know, but you haven't rated RoboCop." He's on to me. Yeah, I'm literally the only person besides my friend Levi, Dabby Doo. I'm literally the only person that rates it 5 stars. Like, it's an easy 5 stars for me. Even Aubrey only gave it 3.5, and I'm kind of disappointed in her right now. I think that's a criminally low score for her. That's the same score Ricky gave it, and we all know that he's a little harsh.
He can be a bit harsh, yeah. But yeah, I've never seen RoboCop, man. I've seen the fucking Mandroid. I've seen the ripoff of RoboCop, but I've never seen RoboCop.
How the fuck buddy, just come to me and tell me these things. And we would have gotten this out of the way. Like, we would have watched RoboCop instead of Mandroid. Like, that night. It's like, why the fuck did we watch Mandroid? Was it 31 Days of Horror or something?
I don't remember, but we watched Mandroid. I think
we were just trying to pick a shitty movie, and we watched Mandroid. Well, guess what? That was beyond terrible. It was like one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my entire life. We could have watched RoboCop instead. And I mean, like, nobody's really given it below 3 stars. The lowest score on here is 3 from Morgan Thompson. And we both know that her taste is just absolute shit. I mean, let's face it. She gave Unlucky 5 stars.
I question her judgment on that one. Yeah.
I don't know if you would give RoboCop 5 stars like me. To me, it's definitely above 3. I think that if you don't give it at least a 4, you're fucking insane. But but to me, it's a 5 because it holds a special place in my heart because I've grown up on that movie. Like, that was like one of the repeat rentals at my video store when I was young. Was fucking RoboCop 1 through 3.
Yeah,
was just like I was obsessed with RoboCop when I was a kid.
And I own them. Like, I own all of them, but I haven't watched them. I don't know.
It's right up. It's kind of an anomaly to me that, like, Halloween is my favorite movie of all time because that's not one that I discovered until I was probably like 16. And then the next 2 on my list are movies that I've been watching my entire life. Terminator 2 and Robocop.
Halloween's just that good, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I've, probably seen it about as many times as those two, even though I've been watching them my entire life.
Yeah. Shorter
then
time period, but more frequent viewings, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Watch Robocop.
I'll try to, man.
What
I
the
don't know
fuck?
I don't know if it'll be before the next episode, but yeah, we will. Because I gotta rewatch, I'll rewatch Halloween so we can do the episode about that.
Oh, yeah.
So.
That was like number 50 on the top 100 horror movies of all time.
Yeah.
Halloween 2018.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. There's like a lot of newer movies. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, the people rating those on there, like, probably, like, people our age or, like, even younger. So, I mean, it's not, like, consistent with, like, the pantheon of all horror films or anything, so.
Okay, but, dude, The Babadook is fucking in the top 10? Stop. Stop. That movie's not that good.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree the Bride of Frankenstein fucking shits on the original Frankenstein and definitely deserves to be ranked higher on the list.
Yeah, that's true as well.
But, Babadook? Over Hereditary?
I don't know about... Now that's blasphemous, especially if it's being rated by...
If I'm ranking newer horror movies, Babadook is not over Hereditary or It Follows, which on this list, it's above both of those.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
It's above Let the Right One In, too, which I don't really care, but I know a lot of people fucking suck that movie off.
Yeah.
Babadook above Silence of the Lambs. Stop. Stop. Above Night of the Living Dead? That's pure blasphemy. There's no way. Like, it's not possible to think that that Babadook is better than Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Over Halloween? Over Godzilla? No. They put it over The Witch, which, no. The Witch is better. Cabin in the Woods is better. I'm just going to go through and find all the newer horror movies on here that are better than Babadook that are ranked under it.
I think we've discovered that Rotten Tomatoes isn't a reliable source.
I will say that Babadook is probably better than Midsummer, so okay, fair play on that one. Yeah, Babadook is definitely better than Nightmare on Elm Street, the original. Yeah, it's definitely better than that. Fucking freaks. Fucking scum. Ugh. Gerald's Game is a fucking horror movie?
Yeah, it's Stephen King.
Hmm.
It's got some trippy stuff in it. I guess some nightmare-ish moments. I mean, it's just a horror film because, like, if it happened in real life, like, you'd basically be fucked. Like, the husband and wife are, like, having sex or whatever, and she's chained to the bed, and then the dude dies. So she's just, like, stuck there.
Well, buddy, all I gotta tell you is that Crawl is in the top 100 of horror movies ever.
What one's that? Is that the one with the alligators? Is that the one?
Yeah, the alligator movie that came out last year.
Or crocodiles, whatever they were. Yeah.
The CGI alligator movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. You gotta watch RoboCop.
Yeah, I'll get to it one day. Maybe that'll be an episode of the show, my first RoboCop experience or something. But yeah, there's a few on yours you gotta watch as well, and on mine there's a bunch that I need to go back and revisit. But we want to hear from you guys. What films that you haven't seen are worth talking about or anything, and which films should we watch that we talked about that we haven't seen so far? Let us know down in the comments. Tweet at us. What is the most famous film that you haven't seen? And let us know, man. We'll keep the discussion going sometime. So.
Yeah, Am I supposed to
I
say
don't
something
know.
here?
I don't know. I mean, just leaving it open. Well, yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say for this week. You got anything else you want to say to the fine people at home?
Yeah, I'm seeing that Dan and Joel just watched Disturbia, which is basically a remake of Rear Window. I quite like Disturbia.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I can't. I've definitely seen parts of it. I don't know if I've seen the full thing.
Yeah, it's like
on
the
that as
Shia
well.
LaBeouf version of Rear Window.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
But yeah, so I guess that's about it for this
That's
week.
my parting message to the listeners of the show. Is I like Disturbia.
Yeah. So yeah, like as I said at the top of the show, guys, make sure you subscribe to the show. Make sure you guys are leaving us a rating and a review and a thumbs up if you're over on YouTube. And yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about in future episodes of the show. Yeah, last week was our Q&A episode, so maybe we're definitely going to do another Q&A once we get into October, some spooky stuff. So, tweet us your questions. The cat episode will be coming out soon, so keep an eye out for the cat episode. And yeah, this is Buddy the Bruiser. I'm signing off.
And this is Dynamite Jared, and I will catch your ass down the road. Watch Robocop before you send in and say, I haven't seen Robocop. Watch fucking Robocop. Don't embarrass yourself like Buddy. Down the road, I'll catch you.